Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones, so let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus here hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers feel. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff, yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke. Here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.
Shall I speak ill of him? That is my husband. Oh, poor my lord. What tongue shall smooth thy name when I, thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? But wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. Back, foolish dears, back to your native spring. Your tributary drops belong to woe, which you, mistaken, offer up to joy. My husband lives. That Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead. That would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore weep I then? Some word there was, worser than Tybalt's death that murdered me. I would forget it fain, but oh, it presses to my memory like damned, guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo, banished. That one word, banished, had slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough if it had ended there, or if sour woe delights in fellowship, but needly would be rent with other griefs. Why followed not when she said Tybalt's dead, thy father, or thy mother, nay, or both, which modern lamentations might have moved, but with the real word, following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished. To speak that word is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain. All dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end. No limit, measure, bound in that word's death. No words can that
Way out west there lived a fella I want to tell you about. A fella by the name of Jeff Lebowski. At least that was the handle his ever-loving parents gave him. This Mr. Lebowski, he never had much use for himself. He preferred to be known as the Dude. Now, Dude, that's not a name anyone would self-apply where I come from. But then there was a lot about the Dude I didn't understand, a lot about where he came from likewise. They call Los Angeles the City of Angels. I didn't find it to be that exactly, but I'll allow us there's some nice folks there. Of course, I can't say I've seen London. I ain't never been to France, and I never seen no queen in her Dundee, so the father says. But after seeing Los Angeles, and this here story I'm about to tell you, well, I reckon I seen something every bit as stupefying as you find in any of them other places. And in English, too, so I can die with a smile on my face without feeling like the good Lord jipped me. Now, the events that I'm about to unfold took place around the early 90s, about the time of our trouble with Saddam and the Iraqis. I only mention it because sometimes there's a man, and I'm talking about the Dude here, sometimes there's a man, well, he's the man for his time and place. He fits right in there, and that's the Dude in Los Angeles. And even if he was a lazy man, and the Dude was most certainly that, quite possibly the laziest man in all of Los Angeles County, which would put him in front running for laziest worldwide. Sometimes there's a man, oh hell, I done lost my train of thought. Well, I introduced him enough.
Now, you may be asking yourselves at this point, what the hell was that? Well, those are monologues. And as part of what I call my audition starter kit, I have my students learn 4 monologues as a basis. There are often more, but that's what we start with. There is 1 classical contemporary, 1 classical comedic, 1 classical contemporary, 1 classical comedic, 1 classical dramatic, 1 contemporary comedic, 1 contemporary dramatic. And it's a great way to start on the acting track. But acting's not that much fun when you do it on your own. So what I try and do is spice things up and involve other actors in a monologue, such as the sequence we're going to do now, which is from David Mannett's Oleana, where a college professor, that's me, gets some feedback from one of his students, maybe a little more feedback than he was counting on.
Professor, I came here as a favor. At your personal request. Perhaps I should not have done so. But I did. On my behalf, and on behalf of my group. And you speak of the tenure committee, one of whose members is a woman, as you know. And though you might call it good fun, or an historical phrase, or an oversight, all of the above, to refer to the committee as good men and true, it is a demeaning remark. It is a sexist remark. And to overlook it is to countenance continuation of that method of thought. You love the power. I'm sorry, you feel yourself empowered. You say so yourself. To strut, to posture, to perform, to call me in here. You say that higher education is a joke. Treat it as such. You treat it as such. And confess to a taste to play the patriarch in your class. To grant this, to deny that. To embrace your students. And you think it's charming to question in yourself this taste to mock and destroy. But you should question it, Professor. And you pick those things which you feel advance you. Publication, tenure, and the steps to get them you call harmless rituals. And you perform those steps, although you say it is hypocrisy. But do the aspirations of your students, of hardworking students who come here, who slave to come here, no idea what it cost me to come to this school. You mock us. You call education hazing. And from your so protected, so elitist seat, you hold our confusion as a joke. And our hopes and efforts with it. Then you sit there and say, what have I done? And ask me to understand that you have aspirations too? But I tell you that you are vile, that you are exploitative. And if you possess 1 ounce of that inner honesty you describe in your book, you can look at yourself and see those things that I see. And you can find revulsion equal to my own. Good day.
That's Regina Turozzi, who up until now was one of my favourite students. Ka-ching. No, really nice work there. They say that a big part of acting is reacting, so it's now going to be Regina's chance to do the reacting. The scene that we're going to see now is just an excerpt from the 1977 film and play by Neil Simon called The Goodbye Girl, where a out-of-work actor and a struggling Broadway dancer with a young daughter are forced to share the same apartment together with hilarious results.
I am paying the rent. I will make all the rules. I like to take showers every morning, and I don't like the panties drying on the rod. Oh, also, I love to cook, so I will use the kitchen whenever I damn well please. And since I'm very, very particular about my condiments, you should keep your salt and pepper to yourself. Oh, and I also play the guitar in the middle of the night whenever I cannot sleep, and I meditate every morning, complete with chanting and burning incense, so if you gotta walk around, I'd appreciate a little tiptoeing. Oh, I sleep in the nude, a buffalo, winter or summer, rain or snow, with the windows wide open, and because I may have to go out to the bathroom or to the fridge in the middle of the night, and because I don't want to put on my jammies each time, which I do not own in the first place, well, unless you're looking for a quick thrill or you're a daughter in advanced education, I'd keep my door closed. Them's my rules and regulations. How does that grab ya?
This is Barnabas Namath. Barnabas Namath, who's another one of my favourite students. So I was working with these guys, and I got the idea of kind of creating these short piece theatre like this, where actors can come out and try different pieces and try different scenes. And I thought if we were going to workshop at a venue, maybe a pub downtown, wherever we can find, that it should have a theme every month or however we do this. And the theme that I chose for the first one, which we're going to see a couple of scenes from, is the affair, as in love affair, as an illicit romance, as an extramarital affair. So we're talking about, a little bit like the play that we saw to open this evening, we're talking about all the excitement of new passion, but all the deceit and guilt that goes with cheating. And to get us in the mood for that, we're going to look at a scene from a 1981 movie called Body Heat, and it takes us to the early 80s and a sleazy bar in Florida.
Look who's here. Isn't this a coincidence?
I know you.
You're the one that doesn't want to talk about the heat. Too bad. I tell you about my chimes.
What about them?
The wind chimes on my porch. They keep ringing. And I go out there expecting a cool breeze. That's what they've always meant. summer's just hot air.
So I remind you of hot air. A bourbon on the rocks, any kind. Another one?
Yeah. What are you doing in Pineham?
Noyoko. Well, I was all the way up to Miami once.
There's some men. Once they get a whiff of it, they trail you like a hound.
I'm not that eager.
What's your name anyway?
Ned Racine.
Maddie Walker.
Is that all right?
Yes, my temperature was a couple of degrees high. Around 100 all the time. I don't mind it. It's the engine or something.
Maybe you need to tune up.
Don't tell me you have just the right tool.
I don't talk that way.
How'd you find me, Ned?
Well, this is the only joint in Pinehaven.
How'd you not drink?
Well, you look like a woman with all the vices.
You shouldn't have come. You're going to be disappointed.
Jeez, what did I do?
A lot of men have tried that seat. You're the first one I've let stay.
You must come here often.
Most men are little boys.
You should drink at home.
Too quiet.
Maybe you shouldn't wear this dress.
This is a blouse and a skirt. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe you shouldn't wear this body.
Sometimes I don't know. I get so sick of everything. I'm not sure I care anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, sometimes the shit comes down so heavy that I feel like I should wear a hat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think I'll get out of here now. I'm going home.
Oh, I'll take you.
I have a car.
I'll follow. Oh, I want to see the chimes.
You want to see the chime?
Yeah, I want to see them. I want to hear them.
That's all. If I let you, then that's all.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm not looking for trouble.
This is my community bar. I might have to come here with my husband sometime. Would you leave before me? Wait in your car? I know it seems silly,
But you've been pretty friendly with me so far. Who do you want to fool?
but... Now leave me alone.
That's what happens when a couple of selfish hedonists, sensualists, decide to embark on an affair. But I thought it would be interesting also to look at what happens when intellectuals fall in love and cheat on their spouses. And to find that out, or to examine that subject, this is a scene from 1981, a 1981 movie. The movie is Reds, directed by Warren Beatty, and it's the playwright Eugene O'Neill and Louise Bryant. Contemplating, not contemplating, maybe they will, maybe they won't. We'll find out. Oh, the 3 chairs. Just need one.
So you're not in Chicago with Jack?
Why should I be? He has his things, and I have mine.
Hmm. What are those?
What?
The things that you have that are yours, what are they?
My work, for one.
He's a real mean son of a bitch, isn't he?
What do you mean?
Leaving you alone with your work.
You think I mind?
Well, you should. Because that's the last thing we should be left alone with.
You may feel that way. I don't.
Of course, you and Jack have your own things, right?
He has the freedom to do the things he wants to, and so do I. And I think anyone who's afraid of that kind of freedom is really only afraid of his own emptiness.
Are you making this up as you go along?
I'd like you to go,
Why?
because I don't want to be patronized. I'm sorry if you don't believe in mutual independence and free love and respect.
Don't give me a lot of parlor socialism that you learned in the village. If you were mine, I wouldn't share you with anybody or anything. You know, it will feel a lot more like love than being left alone with your work. I hope I haven't upset you.
No, not at all. I'm grateful. But you seem to be looking for something much more serious than what I had in mind.
So what did you have in mind?
You see, Jack and I are both perfectly capable of living with our beliefs. But I think someone as romantic as you would be destroyed by them. I don't want that to happen. It would upset Jack too much.
You can clap anytime. So there it is, that's the concept being short pieces, and you know, that us actors can come and workshop their own material. And I even thought of the idea of calling it Three Cheers Theatre, because as you can see, we're just wearing black tops. We don't have a lot of props, a plastic cup or something like that, and just to keep it nice and simple. And so that's really all there is, except to say that our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you. They're all spirits, and have vanished into air, into thin air. Like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, shall all dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a wreck behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little lives are rounded with a sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, Regina Turossi, Barnabas Meadow, and some old dude.